Welcome to the Kim Miller Show, Talking to the Best, where we bring you conversations with the best and brightest minds across various fields, along with inspiring stories. Join me as we delve into insightful discussions, exploring stories, experiences, and wisdom of those who excel in their craft. Get ready to be inspired and enlightened. Tune in and discover what makes the extraordinary individuals stand out on The Kim Miller Show. I am Kim Miller, and 2024 has been a good year for my company, All County Property Management Group, as it was a recipient of the DFW Favorites in the property management category. But more importantly, we are here to interview Michelle Kelly with VIP Total Health and Hydration. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'm glad to have you. We can sit here and do this back and forth. But, what inspired you to start your business?
So, as you know, I've been in the healthcare industry for about 15 years now. And the thing that I've learned over the years is that doctors treat people one way and one way only. They operate within a box. And so what I wanted to do is create an atmosphere for people where they feel comfortable coming into a setting that they don't get things like white coat syndrome or they get high blood pressure. They feel comfortable, they feel relaxed, and they advocate for themselves. So what we like to do at VIP is to let our clients know that there's other ways to treat their ailments or their diseases. And we can do that in an all natural manner versus just taking prescription after prescription. So that's what we're after.
And I like that. I'm actually one of her clients, and that is one of the reasons that I had Michelle on here. And we'll get into some of those details of some of what she does. But how do you operate? How does your business operate?
So we get this question a lot, is that since we are categorized as a med spa, people want to know, how do you do treatments in the office without having a doctor present? So we have a medical director that oversees all of our operations, and then we have a nurse practitioner on staff. So if we have any questions, we can always refer to her. We always hired registered nurses that are compliant with the Texas Medical Board, and we hire highly skilled paramedics that are good in emergency type situations.
And they have some awesome ones there. I think I've been through all of them pretty much. Pretty much, yeah. So this one is going to be, I think, this is going to require some information that I'm excited to hear about this. So what is the difference between functional medicine and traditional medicine?
So this is a pretty hot topic in the functional medicine community. So we'll start with traditional medicine. Traditional medicine is when you go to your doctor's office. So we're talking MDs, primary care physicians. You go in and you say, hey, doc, I'm not feeling well. This is everything that's going on. And maybe they check you and you have high blood pressure. What's the first thing that doctor is going to do?
Prescribe you medicine.
Yeah, they're going to prescribe you a high blood pressure medicine. So instead of working within that little scope in that box, those doctors, it's not even their fault. They're taught in school, if you have a person that comes in with this issue, this is how we fix it. So it's the same across the board. In functional medicine, what we do is we look at underlying factors. We sit down with you and we say, hey, Kim, you have high blood pressure, but what's your home life like? What's your genetical history? Do you have any other diseases? Are you on any other prescriptions that could be causing these problems? So we try to look at the root cause of something versus just handing you a prescription and then another prescription and then another prescription. And so a lot of traditional doctors don't agree with what we do. They don't really like what we do. And we understand that. And we would never take somebody off their medication. I am not against prescribing medications to people because sometimes it's needed. But there's also things that we could do to make it to where we don't have to take those prescriptions. And they're more natural treatments. They're healthier for our body. If you're that type of person, so for instance, my dad went to the doctor and they prescribed him 2 medications. And then he went back a few months later and they prescribed him another medication to offset the medication that they had already prescribed him. By the end of the year, he was on 5 different medications for one issue. So those are the things that I don't agree with. If you're having to prescribe a medication and then prescribe another one to offset that, then to me, that's a problem. And so for functional medicine, we just want to look at the underlying issues. We want to look at the root cause of what is causing this person's, maybe it's an autoimmune disease. Maybe it's really poor gut health. Maybe they just got diagnosed with diverticulitis. There are natural methods to treat those things.
And she's absolutely right about that because I had a personal thing that I came in with, and they will treat a lot of things there. But if they also had suggestions and also sent me to other professionals, they weren't medical doctors, but for example, a chiropractor, PT that actually help those underlying issues. So what I love about when I go into their med spa is I know they're going to help me and do what's best for me. And I mean, I take one prescription. That's it.
Right.
So that's one thing that I love natural, and I do not like taking medicine at all. And so that's one of the things I love about what you all do, is just coming from the holistic point of view.
Yeah. And also, like, we'll practice within our scope. If there's something that is outside of our scope of practice, meaning that if you need something that we can't provide, or you're exceeding what we can do for you, then we're always going to send you out somewhere else. Yeah. We're never going to treat you just to treat you, because that's not the right thing to do. We're going to say, hey, this is all we can do here, but I have this really good contact that falls into the same thing that we do that would be great for you.
And they do that. I promise. And I'm telling Michelle, she is very brilliant in her field. And I know she's not going to like me saying that, but she really, really is. And she does care about the person, and so do her people. So that's one of the things. So what is your most popular service? And I actually happen to have one of their pamphlets here, which has all kinds of things. So
those are all the fun.
I use all of them almost, but no, we'll go.
You have gone through most of
those, yes.
So when we opened VIP Total Health, it was in 2020, and the main thing we offered was IV therapy. IV therapy was on the rise. A lot of people were getting into it. It's really common in like the northern states and California because of the all natural treatment. So IVs, most people know them as the hangover IV from Vegas, right? You drink too much, you party too hard, the next day you get an IV, you feel better 20 minutes later, and then boom, you can start drinking again if you want to. But what we concentrated on were IVs that help things like fibromyalgia, brain fog, migraines. We have an IV for almost everything. One of our more popular IVs now is our high-dose vitamin C, which is used in people that have cancer, which I know seems a little crazy, but there are tons of studies that show that high-dose vitamin C, glutathione, can actually reduce the cancer cells in the body. And if somebody's already going through chemo and radiation, what we do with the vitamin C is we just it helps to increase their white blood cell count, and it keeps them healthy so they can continue those treatments. So when I say we have an IV for everything, we truly do.
They truly do. Some of the things that I've used their immunity cocktail. That's probably one of my favorites. And I'll actually go get one of those IVs before I get on a plane to go travel, just because we all know on airplanes there's a lot of germs. So that's one of the things that I use it for. Let's see. At some point in the past, I know had COVID, and we did which one did I do?
Yeah. So when COVID happened, we created a COVID protocol. And what it is hydrogen peroxide, which I know sounds a little bit crazy, but we infuse hydrogen peroxide because it kills viral infections. So we do the hydrogen peroxide IV, and then we follow that with our immunity IV to boost the system back up.
They did that. I'm living proof. I'm still around. It's fine. They did that.
It's a very common IV, and we actually use hydrogen peroxide to treat things like shingles, autoimmune diseases. Yes. It's great for a number of different things.
And then the other thing followed up with that is, and I got this one not too long ago, is after COVID with the brain fog, we did the, I'm just looking here because I don't remember all the names of them, the NAD infusion. I don't know if we need to go into it. I'll let you explain that instead of me reading that.
A little brief. So NAD is a natural coenzyme that the body produces. And as we age, like other vitamins, that breaks down in our system. So we don't have an influx of it anymore. But NAD is very important, and it's the only vitamin that can break the blood-brain barrier. So when I say that, it's that it can actually help to increase brain function, increase the neurons. It's shown to help with Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's. NAD is very very powerful. And if you do an IV, the other thing I sent you home with was a nasal spray.
Yes, I love the nasal spray.
Yes.
Talk more about that too.
So the nasal spray is great because, as we know, it's going to go through our nose straight up to the brain, so it breaks that barrier. So the great thing about what we do in the clinic is that we can do an IV to get your system kind of boosted again, but we always have things that we can send home with you that you can do at home in the comfort, of your home, or you can take it with you. So we have drops, we have really good compounded vitamins that we send home with people, and everybody loves that because if you come in for a service, people like to walk out with something. But the NAD nasal sprays are becoming very, very popular.
It's called Clear Mind.
Yes, Clear Mind and Body.
Clear Mind. I took mine this morning. It's amazing. I will tell you, absolutely. And one of the things that sometimes I get those horrible back muscle spasms that can kind of cripple you. And I've kind of barely walked in there and you're like, what in the world, Kim? What are we doing today? So tell me because I'm telling you, this is like holistic, but it helps more than anything else. Tell me what you did to get me back on track.
The day that you were having the back spasms, we did a fibromyalgia infusion, and that is packed with all natural things that will relax the muscles. Magnesium is the number one component of that. And that's what I'm saying is that there are so most people that get back spasms, I've had them, I go and take Flexeril, which is a over-the-counter medicine. I can't drive on it. It makes me extremely sleepy and groggy with brain fog. And that usually lasts for about 8 to 10 hours. Yeah. So instead of taking that med, what you can do is get like a high dose of magnesium. And you can't get that through oral, supplementation. You have to do it through the IV. So that is the main component in that IV.
And probably one of the best things that your company has done for me, it was about 2 years ago, or maybe a little less, I don't remember, that, everybody's, as you age gracefully,
mature.
I'm not mature, but as we age gracefully, we know that about me, you're like, Kim, have you checked your hormones? And I'm like,
yes.
No, I haven't. She goes, just come get some blood tests. And so we did the blood test, and then tell us she fixed my hormones, or not she didn't do it, but her nurse practitioner and all of her team. And tell us how you did that and what those are, because you can talk more intelligently about it than I can. I just go get them.
So hormones for women, for some reason, are never discussed, right? After we have babies, the things that we go through, our hormone levels crash, just like guys' testosterone. So when guys need testosterone, they're usually kind of crabby, they're moody, low sex drive, brain fog, low energy. They know what's going on. But for women, we get those things, and for some reason, we just write those off.
Because we're tough.
Yeah, we're tough. We're moms. We're like, I'm just tired. This is how I'm supposed to feel. But that's not true.
It's not.
It's not. So the first thing I tell people is, hey, come in and get some blood work. Let's look at your levels. And what we look at is all your blood work. So a CBC panel, liver, kidneys, all that stuff, make sure everything checks out. And then we look at your thyroid, which is another big component for women, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Those are the three main things. And what we do is, if you're deficient in that or low, we do an all-natural pellet. We use BioT pellets, which are very, very common, and they're derived from sweet potatoes. That's what a lot of people don't know.
So you get your vegetables in and you don't even know it.
It's all natural. It's derived from sweet potatoes. And what we do, the way I like to pitch that to people or describe it, is that all we're doing is optimizing your natural level. So if your levels are sitting here, but optimally you should be up here, we're just filling in that gap. Mm-hmm. And if you decide one day, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, you can come off those pellets and your body will just naturally go right back to where it was.
So, and I'm telling you, it has made a huge difference just in my energy level and all the areas.
Yeah, and I'm sure you can speak to this, is that when our hormones are optimized correctly, we think better, we feel better, we want to exercise, we have better energy, our libido's better. Everybody likes that side of it too.
Yeah, ask Mr. Miller.
Yeah, no, sorry. But the main thing is it's the concentration, and it's being able to finish the task that you need to. It's not getting us stressed out and maybe freaking out on some people. Yeah. I have 5-year-old twins, so I have those moments. My hormones need to be optimized for me to function. So
yeah, and they have there's a a little tablet we take with that, a BioTE little.
It's a bioidentical.
Yes.
And so everybody will be a little bit different. Some people need that, some people don't.
Apparently, I'm one of those that need that, but that's okay. I just take it once a day with a meal.
That's for another day.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll get into that. So, what makes VIP different from other med spas?
So there are a ton of med spas in DFW. It's one of the fastest growing industries that there are. So the thing that differentiates our company is that we're a one-stop shop. If you come in to see us, say you just come in for an IV, which is what most people come in for, but then we start talking to them and they tell us they don't feel good. Then we have them do blood work and boom, now they're doing hormones with us. Say they have a little bit of weight to lose. We put them on our weight loss program. And then after that's done, maybe they've lost so much weight that they're a little bit gaunt in the face. Well, now we have beauty products to help with that.
Yes.
So yeah, it's just a one-stop shop for people. I feel like we can literally fix anything on anyone. And like we talked about at the beginning, if there's something we can't do, we're going to refer you out to somebody that can take care of you.
I'm going to have to tell you about one of the machines. I've only tried it once when they had an open house, but how many of you have to, I'm probably talking to more women, but how many of you have to cross your legs when you sneeze? Okay,
or if you laugh too hard, you have some leakage.
So they have this machine. I'm going to let you talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so the Emsella is our newest product that we carry, and it is a chair that you sit on. It has a Tesla magnet in it, and you sit on it, and the magnet actually contracts the pelvis, and it allows women to Kegel, right? Mm-hmm. We've all heard that word. The problem is that the benefit to it is that it's 12,000 Kegels in a 28-minute session.
That's pretty impressive.
We will never do 12,000 Kegels in a day, and we're doing that in that session. So it rebuilds the pelvic floor in turn, which rebuilds the bladder wall so that when we sneeze, laugh, run, whatever we're doing, we're not leaking urine. And it helps with your sex life too. So there's other benefits.
Tried that. So once you do that, how many times do you have to do it and you're cured?
So it depends on how long you've had the issues for. Mm-hmm. If you've had the issues, our normal regimen is 6 treatments. You do 2 treatments a week, so it's a 3-week commitment. And then what we tell people is that you do a maintenance thing after that. Maybe you have to come in once every 3 months, once every 6 months. Maybe it's just once a year.
Kind of like your pellets.
Yep, just to do a single session. But there are actually medical journals about this machine that shows it thickening the pelvic floor. So there's everything we bring on to VIP, we do extensive research to make sure it's not, just something, on the market.
So what you can do is just schedule a day there, because you can go from station to station to office and get everything done you need to do.
You can do an IV and sit on the Emsella at the same time.
At the same time, you can multitask there. I mean, what other places can you go and do that?
Exactly.
So where do you see your industry evolving in the next 5 to 10 years?
So as everybody knows, the medical field is constantly evolving. The med spa space is going to continue evolving. It's going to continue bringing on more and more services. But for VIP specifically, I see a lot of growth. Our goal is to franchise. Right now, I have our main location in Fort Worth. We have 2 additional locations. And so where
are those?
One is in Aledo and one is in Plano.
Okay.
And so what I would like in the next 5 years is to bring on at least 3 to 5 more locations. So at least 1 location per year would be great. Mm-hmm. It's a slow growth, but it's something that we could manage at that point. And my hope is that every time something new comes out, like the Emsella, we're able to bring that into our practice. As long as it fits our business model and it makes sense, then I want to bring that in. I don't want to be a jack of all trades, so to speak. Yeah. I want to specialize and make sure that what we're doing is beneficial to our clients.
And another person they have on their team is the nurse practitioner. So if you need to get tested for COVID or whatever, or even strep. What else does she test?
Yeah, so she's been a family nurse practitioner for 8 years, and then she was a nurse for 7 before that. So 15 years under her belt. And she does a lot of minor medical for people. So if you come in for an IV and that IV is just not working, then you can do a telehealth visit with Stephanie, and she can prescribe you an antibiotic. We do Rocephin injections in our clinic, and we do steroid injections as well. So there are some things, like I said at the beginning, sometimes you have to have a prescription. And so that's why Stephanie is there too, to kind of direct that and to make sure that our clients are being taken care of.
So what is the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice.
I didn't put that on your deal.
That's a hard one. I think the best advice is just to live in the moment, to enjoy where you're at, to not get consumed with day-to-day activities so much that you miss the little things.
Yeah.
Since I have little kids, I have to constantly remind myself of that because life is busy. So yeah, just to enjoy the moment and kind of stay present.
So what was some of the, what were some of the biggest challenges when you started out, and how did you overcome them?
I think anybody that opens up a business, you're going to see a ton of challenges. The thing I've learned is that you have to be able to pivot. You can't be so stuck in your ways for a business. Like, we all have a business plan in mind, but to say that trajectory is going to follow is crazy because new things will always pop up. The economy could shut down. Then what do you do? So
it's not shut down again.
It's not going to shut down again.
I don't think a lot of us are not going to allow that or just ignore it.
Yeah. But the biggest thing I've learned is that you have to be willing to pivot and to make changes when something is not working.
So, this is kind of a totally different random question, but if you could have dinner with 3 people who've gone on, who would they be and why?
So I had to really think about this one. Okay. I'm glad you gave me this question beforehand because I'm not good at coming up with those on the spot.
That's why I did that.
But I made mine a little bit more personal, and I don't know if a lot of people do that or not. So
well, you're not.
I'm not like most
people. It's okay.
Mine would be my brother. So he passed away 23 years ago. I would love to just sit down to dinner with him again. Like, who wouldn't want to sit down with the past loved one?
Right.
So he was my number one on the list. I already knew that. Another person that made a huge impact on my life was one of our first clients that came into VIP. Her name was Angela, and she had stage 4 ovarian cancer. And Angela is the one that taught us about vitamin C, and it has completely transformed my business. But Angela, she was super intelligent, but she had the kindest and most beautiful soul I've ever seen in my life. She passed away in March 2023. She is a person I would love to sit down to dinner with because she's just an amazing person. And then my third person, this one's kind of funny, but it's Betty White. Who wouldn't want to sit down to dinner with Betty White? I mean,
about you.
She is hilarious. Yeah. She was a staple in show business, and she was actually in the Guinness Book of World Records. She holds the record for being a woman in show business for 70 plus years. And her true passion was that she wanted to be a zookeeper.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that one.
I think that Betty White is just hilarious. And when you look at her life, like, she lived life to the fullest. And so to have dinner with somebody like that, I think would just be a good time.
And so if you were to have dinner with somebody that's still around, that I probably would fit that category because I'm hilarious.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Dinner, I don't even know that we would make it all the way. It would be like a 4-hour dinner.
It would. When
our husbands would be like, okay, are we going home yet?
It is time to, yeah.
Exactly.
We start talking, and we go on some of
we go on different
paths that we're like, how did we get here? But it's very interesting. As you can tell, Michelle is just a wealth of information. So where can listeners find you online? Tell us where.
Yeah, so like everybody else, we have a website, VIPtotalhealth.com, and then we have a business Instagram, and then Facebook. We don't have a LinkedIn yet. I'll probably work on that.
Yeah, you should work on that.
I need to work on that. I'm dropping the ball.
You need to get that going.
I'm not very busy right now. So
I know. She's not busy. She's just productive.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, all the social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, and then our website is also a place that you can go and see all the services in our different locations.
Well, thank you for taking the time to come join us on The Kim Miller Show. I'm so excited that you were here, and we will follow up, and I'll put her access to the link to her website in the comments on the platforms that allow that. So thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Thank you, Kim.